No matter how strong an elephant is, if you're an ant, if you hide yourself well, an elephant cannot kill you.
The problem is not the problem. How you think about the problem is the problem.
Our conventional notions of disadvantage and advantage aren't accurate.
Rise and shine, it's Entspresso time.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso, keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You've got Michael Jordan level talent at something. So let's start your day off right together. Grab your coffee and sip on today's message from Jack Ma. Also, if you want to have more self-love and confidence, check out my 254 series. They're free. The link to join are in the description below.
The people who do the model should believe in the model, and I believe what I do.
African desert, African green is the ecosystem is not controlled by lions and elephants. The ecosystem is controlled by the insects in the mud. Last century, the company, the bigger the better. So everybody wants to be a big company, the powerful company. This century, from now on, a good company is more important than a powerful company. When you compete with big company, in past 20 years, we've been competing with any company, lots of companies in China. But I learned one thing, no matter how strong an elephant is, if you're an ant, if you hide yourself well, an elephant cannot kill you. You can kill the elephant if you're in a better way. It's about your thinking.
How you think about the problem is the problem. Most people are locked into losing thinking, finding all the reasons why you won't win. If you're the ant, think about how you can kill the elephant. If you're the elephant, think about how you can kill the ant. The problem is not the problem. How you think about the problem is the problem. So I used to think that introverts couldn't win. I used to think that to be a good speaker, to have a YouTube channel, to be an entrepreneur, that introverts can't win. And for the longest time, I hid behind the faces on my website. So before even starting YouTube, I started on my website. It was called evancarmichael.com. I didn't have a better name at the time. And I profiled different successful entrepreneurs. Basically what I do on YouTube, but on my website, because I wanted to share the stories. Modeling success saved my business, and I wanted to make it easier for other people to be able to get success on their own as well. So learn who's done it, apply those strategies, make it work for you, and let's go. And so I always hid behind the faces. I remember my first banner, I had Howard Hughes, a big Howard Hughes, Oprah Winfrey, and a couple other people. And people kept asking me, well, where's Evan Carmichael? You know, the website's off your name, you're putting this together, what's your story? And I thought, well, who cares about my story? I mean, sure, I built and sold my first business, but it's nothing compared to Howard Hughes and Oprah Winfrey, these people who've done great things, and it kept coming up over and over and over again. Translate that to my YouTube channel, Evan Carmichael was still the #1 requested top 10. And when I first started doing top 10s, we did Kanye West, shout out to Kanye there on the wall, and then a bunch of other people kept asking for mine. I'm like, well, what do you want mine? You mean, again, what have I done compared to Kanye West? And I always hid behind the fact that I was an introvert. And so I don't want to share my story, nobody's interested, I'm shy, I'm the wallflower, I don't go off and try to make myself the center of attention, I don't like, hanging out with people. And so I had this story that introverts can't win. It wasn't until I reframed it and thought, you know what, introverts can win in communications because we're better listeners. I'm a great listener. As much as you might think I love talking and making these videos and seeing the speeches that I do, what I love doing more than that is listening. And I think that's how you win as an introvert, because it's not about you just sharing, talk, look at me. You're trying to help. And I've met some amazing introverts who are on a huge mission and want to have a big impact and have to fight with themselves to get out of their comfort zone and have the spotlight on them instead of just being behind the scenes. But they're all great listeners. They become great communicators because they're great listeners. And so the problem wasn't that I'm an introvert. The problem is how I thought about the problem of being an introvert. So how can you fix your thinking about the problems in your life? I'm going to give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1 is ask yourself, what is the single biggest problem you're facing right now? Right now, in your life, in your business, what do you think is the number one problem that is holding you back? Either write it down or hold it in your mind. What is that big problem? For me, I thought it's because I am an introvert. What's yours? The second thing is, how will you change your thinking? So you have that problem. Guess what? Lots of people have that same problem and are off crushing it. The only reason why you're not is the story that you're telling yourself. And so what is the change in thinking that you want to make? So for me, is that being an introvert, I can win because I'll be a better listener, and that's how I'll leverage being an introvert to be a good communicator. How are you going to change your thinking? And then step number 3 is have play bigger triggers. Play bigger triggers is a term I came up with to describe things that are in your environment that make you play bigger. So putting this on makes me play bigger. Having the Doritos here, damn the Doritos, makes me play bigger. The people behind me, right? Kanye over there and all these people makes me play bigger. The awards down there and the neck brace on the cabinet and the videos that I make, they're all play bigger triggers. What it means is you set something up once and then it reminds you consistently every day that you're supposed to be playing at a higher level. So that change that you want to make, you have the problem that you have the change that you want to make. What are the play bigger triggers that you want to create so that you can set them up once? Physical environment, screens on your desktop and cell phone, and habits and routines that you're gonna do daily so that you don't have to remind yourself all the time, like, oh yeah, I'm trying to do this. You have elements in your environment that are hitting you with it every single day, showing you that it's possible and making you play bigger. Now I have a really special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, question of the day, I wanna know what is one play bigger trigger that you are going to apply. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you're still here watching this video, I wanna celebrate you. Give me a hashtag believe down in the comments as well.
What I'm trying to get people to understand is that our conventional notions of disadvantage and advantage aren't accurate, that we've called lots of things disadvantages, when in fact it's more complicated than that. And so the reason I started with that story, and also I retell the story of David and Goliath to start the book, because if you look at the story closely, everything you think was a disadvantage about David actually isn't. And Goliath is not what he looks like. He looks like this indomitable giant. In fact, he probably had a medical condition called acromegaly, which is, so this is sort of a side thing.
You're bringing medicine in the Bible, dude. What are you doing?
No, it is hilarious because the minute you start digging into these things, you discover these little pockets have been arguing about these things for years. For 50 years, endocrinologists have been arguing about whether Goliath had a tumor on his pituitary gland, and which would explain his height, because when you have a tumor on your pituitary gland, you overproduce human growth hormone, and you get really... Andre the Giant had this condition.
7'4", a beast.
7'4".
Yeah.
But one of the side effects is that it can constrict your optic nerves and leave you largely with very, very limited eyesight. So one of the explanations for why Goliath behaves so strangely and why he doesn't perceive that David is not intending to fight him. I mean, David comes down the mountain and he's got no sword and no armor. He clearly is not intending to fight a sword fight. And Goliath just sits there like he's oblivious. Yeah. Well, the answer is maybe he can only see this far. Right? So it changes everything when you realize, wait a minute, the giant is weighed down by 100 pounds of armor and can't see anything.
Right.
He's like this, right? So anyway, I do more with that story, but it's all about this, trying to get people to take a step back and understand that we can give up because we have these, or feel powerless because we have these empty definitions or flawed definitions of advantage.
If you want to know how billionaire Sarah Blakely manifests her ideas, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.